Hello everyone and welcome to our channel. A few weeks before, me and my wife Rashmika, we applied for a Schengen Visa at a German Consulate and we got the visa in 15 clear days time. While we were on this journey of getting this Schengen Visa, we learned a couple of things during our journey. We understood certain nuances in applying for a Schengen Visa, and in this video we'll be discussing about all of that. To start off with, the first document that you have to read to start off your Schengen Visa documentation journey is the checklist for Schengen tourist visas. This, if you're applying for Germany, then you can go to the German Consulate's website and you can get this document. I link this document down below. What you need to do is go through each and every line item and attach the document if the document is relevant for you. To brief about our case, we applied as a couple for a tourist visa. Both me and my wife are working in MNCs, but because my wife is at start of her career, I have taken the responsibility of sponsoring the entire duration. So this is a case where we are applying as a couple. Both of us are employed and we are applying for a Schengen tourist visa without any sponsorship from the home country. So that's the basis in which we have gone ahead and applied for the Schengen Visa. First line item that is said in the checklist is the VIDEX Form. So VIDEX Form is something that's specific to the German Consulate. What you're supposed to do is you have to basically Google VIDEX, and then the first link in Google itself will be the VIDEX form that's hosted by the German Consulate. This is a tool that basically helps you fill in a form, and once you fill it up, you click on a button and it generates a PDF version of it. The PDF also has a barcode in it, so it becomes easier for the visa officers to read all of your data because all they have to do is scan the document and they get all your particulars into their system. VIDEX form, filling it is pretty easy. Everything is very self-explanatory, but there are two things that I believe you need to keep in mind while you're applying as a couple with sponsorship, with one of the spouses sponsoring the other in that form. In our case, we were applying for 10 days, but where there is an area in the VIDEX form that asks us to mention the number of entries that you need in the country. You're supposed to select multiple there. You might have a tendency of selecting single, but apply for multiple. Even there is a guide that VFS has hosted in their website about how to fill the VIDEX form. Even in those guidance notes, they have clearly mentioned that you are supposed to select multi in that and not single. So please select multi in that area. The second one is to the last of your form. There is a line item that says reference. You are supposed to fill that up. If you are a tourist, you might think, why should I fill that up? Because you are going there as a tourist and you don't have a reference per se in the country. In such a case, you're supposed to fill in the first hotel that you are checking into in that area. So please do not forget to do that. Those are the two things that you have to keep in mind while filling the VIDEX form. The rest of the documentation revolves around three things. So to the visa officer, you are trying to prove three things. One is the purpose of your travel, in our case tourism. The second is the sources of funds, in our case employment and the funds that we have in the bank. And the third thing is the reasons for you to come back. In our case, employment was the most strongest reason for you to come back. These three things you're also supposed to mention in the covering letter, which is a critical part of your application for a Schengen visa. So your covering letter, I will try to link in a format to a covering letter which worked for us down below, deleting the particulars that's very specific to me. So deleting that, I will put in the format of a covering letter. Things to keep in mind while writing a covering letter is the covering letter should cover three aspects. One is the intent of travel. So you have to clearly mention that you're going there for tourism, from what date to what date. Clearly mention your passport number and your wife's passport number. Do mention in the cover letter that if you are sponsoring your wife, do clearly mention that you'll be sponsoring your wife in the covering letter itself. And also draft a separate covering letter for your wife where it also says that the husband will be taking care of expenses of travel. On top of it, you should also mention the itinerary. There are people who would attach an itinerary along with the cover letter and keep it along with it. We didn't do that. We kept the itinerary as part of the letter, and that was accepted by VFS and it worked for us. And the third aspect is you need to write about your employment and the reasons for you to come back. And if you're employed, the employment is a clear reason for you to have a connection to your country. So these are the aspects that you need to write in your covering letter. Do understand that covering letter is very specific from person to person. In our case, we had certain aspects to be called out. In many other cases, there could be other nuances that you might want to bring in front of the visa officer. You are always welcome to write all of those in your covering letter. Be as truthful as possible. We have given an itinerary which was the actual itinerary that we wanted to follow. We haven't deviated. We don't intend to deviate even a bit from that itinerary. And the rest of the documentation are starting off with your employment. So there was some amount of nuance for both of us, because the companies that we work for do not provide us with signed letters or documents. In a visa application, you're supposed to keep your contract of employment and also a NOC certificate along with your past 3 months pay slips and a bank account statement. Though the pay slips and bank account, though the pay slips do not have signatures or seals of the company HR or anyone in it, when it comes to NOCs and contract of employment, there is always an expectation of somebody acknowledging the contract along with us. The problem with our company is all of these documents were digitally signed. So what we did is we took copy of the contract of employment, which was of course digitally signed, and we kept it. And we also took a copy, a printout of the NOC that they provided us with digital signatures. But we affixed the seals of our companies on top of it just to authenticate it. On top of it, we also kept the mails in which that was transmitted to us. And in my case, I had to download it from a portal. So I took the screenshot of the portal as well and placed it along with our application. When you get your bank account statement, what they ask for is 3 months bank account statements. Do remember to seal and sign the bank account statements. In our case, we also went ahead and kept FD statements and credit card statements along with it. These are often talked about in many YouTube channels and Reddit threads, but it's not really required for you to keep that. In our case, we kept all of these. The VFS returned every single one of them back. All they do is they go through the checklist, and anything that is outside of a checklist is returned back. We also tried to attach the PF statements along with it, just to show that we have enough reasons to come back, but that was also returned back. So a long story short, if you're applying to a German consulate, all you have to do is stick to the list, and as long as you stick to the list, your case is good to go. Then comes to your ITR statements. You have to keep the ITR acknowledgement with the barcode at the bottom. You have to keep the past 2 years ITR. I would have kept past 3 years ITR just in case. They accepted all the 3 ITRs. My wife also kept the ITR because she was also employed, though I was the sponsorer. If you are a sponsorer to a certain person, then you have supposed to keep the sponsorship document, that is the sponsorship letter, where in a covering letter you're supposed to address to the German the German visa officer, telling him or her that you will be undertaking the expenses of travel as per the itinerary of your wife so and so with passport number so and so, and you undertake to carry all the expenses of travel, including transportation, food and sightseeing, etc., etc. And you basically write that and sign underneath that you acknowledge that you're going to take care of our expenses. So that's another thing that you have to keep in mind if there is a sponsorship along with it. Then you are supposed to keep a color copy of your passport. This is something that you need to take it through to the VFS office, or else they might charge you extra just to get a color copy of your passport. Then you need to attach the hotel bookings for all the intended periods of stay. So the hotel booking should essentially cover every day that you are spending in the country, and that hotel bookings should be attached along with your visa application. Then comes travel documents, that is your airline tickets, your flight tickets, What we did is we directly booked our flight tickets at the Emirates website and attached the original flight, the to and fro flight tickets from Chennai to Germany, and we were returning back from Vienna. So from Vienna back to Chennai. You can also put in the reservations, what people call as dummy tickets and all of that. But in our case, we were applying only 3 months in advance, so it made sense for us to book the flight tickets. And when I checked the flight rates, after we received the passports, the flight rates have gone ahead by 80,000 rupees. So kind of makes sense if you are quite sure that you are pretty decent in your documentation, you might end up saving some money because of it. Then a lot of people talk about attaching rail tickets and all of that. In our case, we didn't attach any sort of rail ticket. I actually did a calculation to understand whether a Eurorail pass makes more sense compared to the seasons tickets that are available in Germany. In the calculation, it was more than evident that it makes more sense for me to get seasons ticket and travel inside Germany rather than get Eurorail pass. So in which case we never applied for a Eurorail pass, and we kind of mentioned that we'll be picking up tickets on our travel in Germany, and we might not be getting a Eurorail pass. We didn't attach any train tickets, and that worked for us while we applied for our Schengen visa. We also had a travel from Munich to Vienna because we were landing in Frankfurt and we were exiting from Vienna. So there was a confusion among, at least I doubted whether I should keep the train reservation between Munich and Vienna. But then I skipped it and wrote it clearly in my letter to the visa officer that we are not attaching the train ticket because we wanted to optimize the time on which we are leaving Munich basis how the holiday progresses. The insurance. So insurance is something that you're supposed to attach. For any Schengen visa, you're supposed to ensure that each one of you have a cover of 30,000 euros for health. I'm not talking about two people. One person should have a cover of 30,000 euros at minimum. And there are a couple of insurance agencies that are approved for a Schengen visa. I'll link the list down below. So what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to go to all these insurers' website and figure out the insurance that works for you. What we did is we took a $50,000 per person insurance for the 10-day duration. It came to somewhere around 1,500 rupees for both of us. Then comes the most important document that we understood was the marriage certificate. We got married 3 years ago, but we never cared on getting a marriage certificate. And while we were applying for the visa, in the listing it's clearly mentioned that you need to show your civil status, that is marriage certificate. On top of it, if you are sponsoring your spouse's travel, you are supposed to attach a marriage certificate to prove that as well. Since we didn't have it at that point in time, what we did is we amended the passport to add both of our names at either sides. To amend your Indian passport and put your spouse's name in it is pretty easy. All you have to do is go online and do the correction and apply. And there is of course a form where you can write it down and stick and affix a photograph and all of that, but usually they're not concerned about it. As long as you declare your wife's name, it's added on to your passport. So that's also, we did that. From the point in which we requested for an appointment to the point at which we attended the appointment, we had 3 weeks time. So in that 3 weeks time, we tried to apply for a marriage certificate, and lucky enough, we got the marriage certificate. In the VFS office, they were most concerned about the marriage certificate itself because apparently marriage certificate is very important. So if you are in our kind of situation, it's always advisable for you to get a marriage certificate, especially if you're applying at a German consulate. I also attached an old visa I had with Germany 10 years ago just to make my application stronger, but that was returned back by VFS because in the listing all they asked for is any visa that was issued 5 years before. So anything beyond 5 years they're not interested in, they return that back to you. Further, there are a couple of things that you might need to keep in mind while applying for an appointment at a VFS center to submit your Schengen visa at a German consulate. One thing that happened to us was when we were applying for an appointment, we got an appointment 4 weeks down the line. So first of all, German consulates are quite busy. So to get an appointment at a VFS center, you might want to apply a lot earlier because the slots might be even open 4 weeks down the line. On top of this, when we applied, there is an option at the website that says pay 25 rupees for photographs. Since 25 rupees seemed to be a very nominal amount, we selected that and we never took a photograph as per the guidelines that are given in the listing. While we went to the VFS Center, they advised us that service is currently not there, and that if we want to get a photograph done within the VFS Center itself, we might have to apply for a premium service where the photograph is also included in the overall service. If you're applying, do not go ahead and select the photograph option. You can as well get the photograph done somewhere and go ahead to the VFS Center and not take in the premium services. So these were the things that I thought I should discuss in this video as far as applying for a Schengen visa at a German consulate is concerned. If you guys have any more questions or doubt, please comment down below. I'll try to answer them to the best of my knowledge. So thank you for watching and have a great day ahead.